So hi everybody, my name is Chandramouli. I'm the CEO of TRA Research, a company which basically does studies on brand trust for the last 15 years. We're waiting for the other panelists, but been advised that we should start perhaps. And we have a very august gentleman next to me, who's the ex-DGP of Karnataka, and and we also have Mr. Shobhit Jain, who's been there, Dr. Shobhit Jain rather, who's been a part of many, many departments, commerce, as well as FSSAI, and now Sports Authority of India. And we have here Mr. Prabodh Halde, and he's from Marico, is part of Global Regulatory. And we also have Mr. Mithekar, and he's a part of FSSAI West. So since we are all here, it's a very important topic, like everybody said, and it's supposed to be an anatomy of a crime. So I'll start with the man over here next to me, who's the policeman. So everybody is a little, okay, yeah, I'll start with you, sir, with a single question. The question is, can you tell the audience what is behind fake Nutra? Is it a person? Is it a mafia? Is it something that can be described by you?
Okay, good afternoon, and it's a real, the first thing what I'm watching here is police at nutraceutical conference, and this is something first, and I have been graciously invited by Amit Shrivastava today to join here for a discussion. Now this is the biggest challenge, fake nutrition products. Now before coming here, I was just having the context in which I should be able to talk to you all. The only big challenge today we face is fake products in the market. And when a fake product enters the market, it implies a lot of criminal offenses also. And the first offense is breach of public trust. And what we cover in the criminal laws is called criminal breach of trust. And that is the first thing when it happens in any market. And when a fake product enters the market, what it does is it pushes out the genuine product. And then if the compliance and the implementation of laws is not effective, you will find genuine companies are unwilling to enter a market in any country because they know that they will be outmaneuvered by all these clandestine fake companies which are operating. And that is why today in this context, when we have all assembled here, this context becomes very, very important. How do you tackle fake products in the Indian market? And you know India is the biggest consumer market today. And this is the biggest challenge today. And being a police officer for 35 years, having seen the implementation of criminal laws, the basic lacuna or the challenge we face is, can police enter this field suo moto? Suo moto is a language we use in criminal laws, that can police start checking every product on its own? And that is where the problem arises. Because if you give unbridled powers to police, the police not only will create a nuisance, but it will also put all the genuine people into a mess up. And that is why our justice system in India is an adversarial system. And especially when we implement the Food Act, we need a complaint. We need a proper complaint. And that is why when you see the FSSAI Act 2006, the role of the police is very, very limited. The court takes cognizance only when an authorized officer of the food department lodges a complaint. Now the question arises, if there is likely to be a public nuisance, if there is likely to be a public disorder, should the police keep their hands off? And during COVID-19, when we saw people running around, because most of the cities in India have 20 to 30% of migrant people staying there. And that is why all these food outlets becomes a big challenge in terms of public health, in terms of sanitation, in terms of safety. And a police, which is the longest arm of the state, cannot keep themselves off the scenario, even though the act itself does not allow police to enter directly. They need a complaint from the food officer, and the food officer need to put a proper complaint before the court can take cognizance of such offenses. However, my only underlying point is the investigation, the prevention aspect, if it is likely to lead to any public inconvenience or public mischief, the police has every right under the now amended criminal law, what we call BNSS, to intervene, to investigate, and to ensure that the right people are fixed up so that the repetition of such offenses do not happen. So with these opening words, I hand over to the next panelist who shall take this topic further away.
Ask him a question, of course. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir. You did mention that the new rules are bringing in this collective, just to continue his statement, the collective act of almost mafia, 5 people or more. BNSS has been BNSS is bringing that into the flow. But do you think this law change has been down the line affected in any way, which means can this now have a better outcome for public and brands in general? So for you, yes. Just continue.
The question is very simple. Whenever you are anticipating that such an issue can lead to a problem, then the intervention becomes imminent. Now, whatever be the special act, under the Food Safety and Standards Act, you know, the whole thing has been incorporated for a designated officer in which the police does not enter. Now, this act has both criminal and civil liability. And this civil liability is in terms of the fine imposed and the recovery is done. But there are certain sections which also allows for imprisonment. And that is where the criminal law sets in motion. Now, one of the recently application put before our apex court is that the fines are disproportionate to the kind of turnover food outlets are making. Because if I am right, the maximum fine imposed is 10 lakh rupees. And in terms of turnover, it goes into crores. So all these offenders are willing to pay the fine and continue in business rather than to get onto the other side. And that is why when you put the criminal law in motion, at least there will be some deterrence. People shall be scared not to break the law. And one of the fundamentals of this FSAI is registration, licensing. And unless you register and license, the violations do not come to the fore. So this is one aspect which I would like my co-panelists to further elaborate on that.
So cost of crime is what you're talking about. Cost of crime should be really talked about. So Dr. Shobat, the question. You've been through departments, various departments in the government, still are. Commerce, if I'm not wrong, you've also been in customs and in FSSAI, now in Sports Authority of India. And a person with such deep kind of ingress into various departments, can you tell us, when we ask government departments, would you try to take the lead? They always say that other department is better suited. We are not that suited. Unlike in normal cases where credit would be taken. One is, of course, this is giving up the responsibility of taking the lead, but this is an entire action of coordination. Without coordination, there will be no outcome. What do you suggest in your experiences of various departments that how can this be resolved of fake Nutra?
Yeah, I fully agree with you. This segment is multi-dimensional. So all departments need to get their act together. Individually in silos, every department is working hard. FSSAI would be working, police no doubt acts, consumer segment works, but it is the question of making that elements dance together. Now, in this current world, I think speed is of essence. I'll take a bit more. If today you want to act, you need evidence. You go to a place jahan pe there is some kind of shady manufacturing happening, unlicensed. It's an easy case, no problem. But if you're picking up a sample from the market, which has not caused harm immediately at that point of time and wanting to trace it back to the origin, unless you move fast, the gray world will pack itself, move to another location, start working again. If you are totally, I'm talking about something like counterfeit. So actually all these agencies need to work each other, and I think in today's mantra in the government is one government approach. क्या enable करना है वो तो एक question of legislative drafting है, but I think there is no qualm. Whosoever is the nearest and the fastest should act first. And the source of this information can come from anywhere. It could be a Twitter, it could be an incident, it could be an informer, and one thing that is most missing, and that is this house.
This a stated rule, or is this that the nearest acts first?
What I mean to say is that they should move in. That's what I'm saying. And if there is a legal enablement, that can be talked and structured. Why I'm saying so? Because if we work in silos, actually the speed is killed. And if we don't act fast, the evidence is lost. And as I was pointing out the last key, I think the biggest harm that comes is to the, as sir had pointed out, to the organized business. And I think it is time for nutraceuticals to grow, and I've been talking about to build that trust in the public at large. And I'm not talking about trust only of one brand per se or one product. I'm also talking of the segment that we need to create such enabilities. So it is not always that every action needs to result in a prosecution. If some action is taken, maybe it is not because of certain want of whatever requirement is not proceeded till the last, but it breaks the chain at that point of time. What you're doing, you're breaking the chain. So actually you're making the business more expensive for him. He has to approve, go, probably take a new name, come back again to the market. Aapne uska dhanda expensive banaya. And that is how the things work. You have to make, when you had started, you had asked what is this whole business about. I think it's only two factors. One, consumer wants to pay less. Usko saste mein mil raha hai. I'm not always talking about that he may be deceived also. Same price, pure counterfeit. But बहुत सारा एक ग्रे सेगमेंट है, उसको लगता है कि सस्ते में मिल रहा है, मैं यहाँ से ले लेता हूँ, सस्ता पड़ रहा है. That is natural. But you need to break that market. So the agencies actually need to work around, and with new tools, digitalized versions happening, we are seeing this kind of integration happening across sectors where people are ready to talk, open up, share information, and make things move as a cohesive nature. And I'm sure you will see a lot of things happening in the future in that sense.
Thank you very much, Dr. Jan. Dr. Methekar, I'll come to you. Slowly and steadily, the previous two speakers have kind of put this onto, a little bit onto FSSAI, saying that it's the nodal body which will probably take more and more of the responsibility, and also it's been stated that, you know, police doesn't have a great role to play when it comes to such things. So how is FSSAI really looking at this problem? Is it a core problem that is big enough for you to say that, okay, we are going to create regulation or technology to solve this?
See, this is a very old problem. We see the transition from Prevention of Food Adulteration Act to the Food Safety and Standards Act. What we have done, we have moved from criminalization to the civilization, means civil penalties. And as rightly said that, the PFA Act, which was rigid, this is a science-based standard act. Therefore, when the nutrition is stake, the consumer is also helpless. But genuine manufacturers are also helpless. Looking to the scenario of this, and we have given the self-compliances to the food businesses. So it is the responsibility of the food businesses. They should adhere to the strictly to the regulation provisions which are given to the particular trade, particular manufacturing areas. And to govern that, we have the robust system. We have the food safety officers on the field. We have the advertising monitoring cell at headquarters. Continuously we get the advertisement, misleading advertisements, information, complaints from consumers. We have the Food Safety Connect app. So these are all the different parameters to check the fake nutrition in the market. What is the fake nutrition? Then nutrition which is not based with the scientific base, one. And another is forging the analysis or the evaluation of the composition of that product is also under the garb. So that also to be taken into the consideration. And we firstly issuing the correct license to the correct product, because there are certain ingredients which are allowed, certain ingredients which are not allowed. Then that should have to be taken into the mind of food business operators, and what the consumer gets, because he don't have any laboratory in his own house. Just he reads the label. So that is the fraud if we would not deliver the right product to the consumer.
This is about labeling, and you've talked about the fact that these are licensed people going, off label or little less than what is. But you're talking about people who are not licensed at all. Fake Nutra is a very, very deep down thing, which is not even a part of the system. It just, people, I have heard that people purchase the real product and, use only a part of those pills within that particular set. And most of the others are imitation, completely counterfeit. There's a very large, deep down, Assocham claims 80% of all Nutra is fake, maybe, give it 50%, 30%, whatever the number. That is not yet addressed. And is FSSAI a core part of that, addressing that?
We have these stringent regulations. For the civil penalties, section 52 and 53. As per the section 52, 3 lakhs fine is there. As per the section 52, 3 lakh, 53, 10 lakhs misleading claims. And one section that the sir has expressed, that 61 is the section where giving the false information, it may lead to 3 months imprisonment with the 2 lakh rupees fine. So that is a deterrent weapon is available. And if that is not followed by the food business operators, we make the necessary investigations and we can curb that particularly. But it requires the entire chain, means food business operator, consumer, they has to be come before the FSSAI to express that such and such things are going on. Because we have the limited number of manpower availability. We cannot reach the huge market, online market that is going on. There are huge products unscrupulously sell on the websites of different websites. So that will require certain time of period to grab them.
Thank you so much, sir. Dr. Halde, I have a question for you. He's from Marico Soil, and it's a big organization with many products. I'm sure this is not a problem with the Nutra section alone. I'm sure your coconut oil, right down to everything else, faces similar fake products because of the intensity of the problem and the volume of the business. What are the learnings you think we can take in Nutra from the rest of the businesses that you have also come across?
Thank you, sir. And first, I really want to congratulate our Honorable IPS sir. Sir, your knowledge about the Act, I'm really impressed. The way you were explaining what are the limitations and what are the powers with FSSAI, because very few people, and Dr. Metekar, Shombit sir has worked with FSSAI. So the basic intent of the Act, you were actually relying. Really want to congratulate you, sir, coming from the police force, but you have a good read about our FSSAI Act. Coming back to Metekar sir and Shombit sir also has said, I will talk about nutraceutical and nutrition, sir. All these fake or duplicate or counterfeit, these are the 3 categories. Why people do? This is a economical gain at the short time. All these people are earning money they want to earn money at the earliest. It's all, motive is economical gain, sir. And now, earlier they were doing loose business, now today they've entered into the very, very syndicate and very organized crime, as sir has mentioned. And you will see their packaging is so better, sometimes clothes, and better than the original one. And they adopt, we have seen, sir, if you change, because one of the things which companies keep changing their packaging, so the duplicate cannot catch. But they are faster and better than the original one sometimes. This problem exists, sir. And nutraceutical and nutrition products are about the basic needs of the food. Food is for taste and basic metabolism, but nutrition and nutraceutical cater to the class where one, it has a higher cost, and also the need is different. It is beyond the normal food. These are not conventional food. They're beyond, and the cost per unit is also high. So there is a profit margin would be very high if I bring something which is inferior quality or duplicate. Use the packaging material, but in content would be different. Or I will use the very, very look similar name, and then I will launch something, or I will put. Problem in the nutraceutical and nutrition, because of the delta is very high. Now, FSSAI, there are enough provisions to catch. There are enough provisions. In IPC also there are enough provisions. The problem is, sir, the market is so huge and everybody is not that tech savvy. Everybody, because they copy the barcode also. Problem is that when you copy the barcode, it goes into the original website of the actually original supplier, and they will consider it as a normal. Every company goes through this, sir. And then there are one department in every FMCG where they keep doing some action along with the police, and police cooperate in this because finally they're playing with the health of the consumer. And unfortunately, Shobhit sir, if they get caught, they always produce the invoice of the original company. I got it from them. It is very difficult to prove, then the burden of the proof comes to the original company. You have supplied, your distributor has supplied, because they produce the bill. And every consignment cannot be connected with the code which will link with the invoice. Only you will write a quantity. You will not able to write this quantity for this. It is not possible in food. So problem is there, but aware consumers, they will buy from the authentic stores, from authentic platforms is very important. In authentic platform, in authentic stores, such incidents will be rare or not possible. That's why the branded one, and I'm not saying branded means very, very, but packaged one, and known shopkeeper will never mistrust your consumer because he knows that this customer will not come again. This is very important, sir. That ecosystem has to stay.
So thank you very much, Dr. Halde. But I'll just tell you one experience of the one of the most famous platforms that's used by everybody, that's Amazon. I have bought products there. I bought an electronic product there, which is a memory card for 13,000 rupees, Samsung T7, I think. And it was a fake product. I did not open it for the first returnable days, 7 days. But when I went back to Amazon, they refused to take it because it was they said it's not a good product. I told them it's a fake product. They said, go to Samsung. I went to Samsung twice over, took a letter from them after much persuasion that it's a fake product, went back to Amazon. Amazon said it's not my problem. Samsung said it's not my problem. My money is still stuck there. But so my question from that comes to you, sir. So the cheated customer has no recourse, in my opinion. I went to cybercrime at the end, and the cybercrime refused to take it as a real complaint, saying it's not a fraud. So I think everybody over here has already faced a crime or will face a crime in the next few weeks and months and years, because it is a definitive problem. Either they know it or they don't know it. But our complaint, even after, despite trying, when you fail, the customer is completely disillusioned. I never want to, I mean, I don't blame the product, but Amazon is one channel. At least that can be regulated. What's your opinion, sir?
See, this is a very rampant problem. Now let me distinguish it like this. The fake Samsung product per se can carry a no criminal action unless, I'm just clarifying it, unless it leads to loss of life or property or damage to your reputation. Now the question here is that you got a fake product and you suffered a loss. In terms of your financial loss, it could be. Now the question is, it does attract criminal action, because the underlying factor of a criminal action by the police is that it should be done with a criminal intent leading to loss of life, loss of property, or damage to your reputation. And why do I say damage to your reputation? Because you see every day, the reputation of people in public domain is damaged. And they have two options, either to go for a civil litigation or criminal litigation. People normally prefer a criminal litigation because it is faster and you get results more in a time-bound manner. So this, when the cyber police asked you not to file a complaint, I think personally it was a misinterpretation of law from their side. And it did require an appellate petition from your side, because it does cause a loss to you when you don't get the original. Now, if you just complain that Samsung is a fake product, police should not interfere, because the fake product, police is not supposed to prove it.
Because I did not die.
So the question is, you have to distinguish whether you are making a fake product complaint or whether you are making a loss to yourself. And the moment it causes a loss to you, you see the police has every right to interfere. This is how you have to distinguish a criminal action with a civil action.
How do I prove a loss? Because either I've eaten a product that's fake.
See, you expected the original product and you paid the full money and you got a fake in a return. So you have suffered a financial loss. And the police should have taken it up as a section of law, what we call cheating. The earlier criminal code said 420 IPC, now the number is amended. But 420, how it became popular was the moment you got cheated. And then it also caused you criminal breach of trust, which is the platform that delivered you the product. As you rightly said, Amazon. So Amazon also has to be made accountable under criminal breach of trust, because they had promised you the original product. In the process, they delivered you a fake product. So to my interpretation of criminal law, I think it was a fit case where an FIR should be filed, properly investigated, and the people who are responsible must be fixed up.
And is Samsung in any way a part of this, because their product was counterfeit, so they have lost reputation?
It's a criminal breach of trust. You had trust on Amazon, that's why you ordered. And they were supposed to deliver you the original product. If they did not, they must take the liability, what we call criminal liability on them. And it's a direct liability, not even a vicarious liability.
I'll ask you one question, Dr. Jain. You know, you've been in the customs department, which is fraught with, or it is designed to correct or catch criminals who fake products and things like that. In this, is there anything that we learn from that department, which is an enormous department across the country, and that we can apply here, which is a very specific nutraceuticals area?
I think, as sir has explained, police on the ground or customs on the border, they are the enforcement agencies, but there have to be a challenge to it. Now, if there is a product coming, somebody will not try and ascertain the genuinity of the product, because it's an importer-driven thing. Till it is within the law, it goes. So if there's a complaint, people can. On the borders, fakes is other IPR is an issue. So the brands, there is a mechanism, they go register and then they are called upon to verify. But I'll change the discourse a little from customs to a little wider. I think whatever the enforcement agencies do, whether it is police or FSSAI, it would only be a demonstrative effect, because the game is so big. You will will definitely raise the fear factor. But I think for this menace, we need the consumer to be made aware. Though you might say the consumer is fatigued, doesn't matter, we'll try and shackle him up and come back. Second is, I think the biggest stakeholder, and it is my personal experience, I'm not calling it from any agency. I found the industry actions very siloed and weak. Yes. Why I'm saying so, I have a reason. One, as Mr. Halde said, every company has this kind of drive, they try to do it. But बहुत ज़्यादा public नहीं आना चाहते. Because उनकी credibility पे issue है. अगर ये आ जाए कि ये consumer market के अंदर, market में ये product is running fake, overnight people start buying a competitor. So there's an elephant in the house and nobody is talking about it. Everybody is trying to attend to it in his own small world. I understand that problem from a business perspective, but I'm not saying you have to bring it so forth. But I think, and there are examples, because this counterfeiting is not an issue of nutraceutical. It is in many FMCG बहुत ज़्यादा है. Piracy in software once was a big issue. Electronics है. Every industry has tried and solved it in its own way. And today we have the tech stack available for it. I'm sure many businesses right now in the audience would have a lot of track and trace, and much of the nutraceutical actually overlaps with pharma. So they actually have a good, I would say, experience of track and trace. And at least in our country, I have a feeling that the cost, though we are a very price sensitive market, but the cost of enabling this kind of tech stacks is reasonable. I think the biggies should move in. So you need to attack it from all kind of spheres. Misinformation to be curtailed. We are talking of marketplaces. Now there are safe harbor rules for that. They claim we are just intermediaries. So we could work with them, whether from a regulatory perspective or from the business perspective. The business can rise up and talk to the marketplaces and say, okay, sir, we want a certain accredited marketplace over here. That means the distributor, I say, official distributor, will be only onboarded over here. So as a consumer, I know that this product is available from 100 people, but there is an accredited market space, the kind of a blue tick. So I buy there. Maybe I'm ready to pay a little premium for that.
Absolutely.
These kind of market solutions need to be brought out, and not everything has to go the only enforcement way. We actually have to look at the logistics of the supply chain, break it from the enforcement level, but also from the consumer level, and also build that trusted space in that which the businesses need to do, so that the consumer has an alternative where I can go. हम end के अंदर बोलते हैं, I on my portal are running, जो पूरे MRP पे बिकता है, वहाँ से ले लो, उसके आधे दाम पे कहीं और दिख रहा होता है. So you need to give that middle space. Fine, on that marketplace, we have our official distributors, I have acknowledged them. So trust के लिए एक value हो जाती है. And this happens to even electronics.
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
In fact, what you're saying, unfortunately, we are caught in this duopoly where we don't have choices other than maybe one or two, like Amazon and some others. And therefore, you come back to them despite them, cheating you sometimes. So that I agree totally with. But I'll come to you, Dr. Halde. This problem of brands themselves not pursuing the problem. They are the ones who are most affected, apart from government, and we are losing trust. But I lose a little bit of money. You lose a collective bit of money. And I know the problem, like Dr. Jain said, there's so many issues of my own brand, but there are clandestine ways that you can approach it. You can actually not necessarily come up front and say it. You can have organizations, there are organizations which actually catch IPR infringement, and they go behind them and they coordinate with the police in order to be able to capture the culprits. That's being done in a very minuscule manner. And is there no financial incentive for a company to do this or a brand to do this?
I will just add, sir, as Shobit sir has rightly said, what the reason is that why people don't public it. But let me tell you, FICCI, CI, AIPI, they have a cascade, these kind of special sales are there. FMCG company also spending money on the awareness, because here consumer also need to be aware what to buy at what price. Suddenly somebody started giving a lot of discount, suddenly something sale is happening at the, so naturally these are the lucrative offers where there might be a chances of doing something. But efforts are going there, and FMCG companies suffering because of this, not because of only financial loss, but consumer trust is getting defeated. Like if I am getting some product with considering this product will perform some my whatever is my demand, and if my promise whatever is my I'm expecting from that product, if I'm not able to meet those, naturally next time the consumer is switched over. They don't come back. As per the consumer insighting, what we have realized, out of 10 consumers, only 1 will come back to you with complaint. 9 will just shift the loyalty. So it's a big loss to the companies. Already the companies with Honorable Minister Piyush ji, because what happened when you prove somebody that person is doing something, then also there are the laws which again sir has rightly said criminal. Every time you cannot put them into the criminal. There are ways they will again open the shop next with the name change. And same people are involved. We have seen here, actually the experience is that same people are rotating, sir. This is a syndicate, and then they will put their company name of their servant. Owners are different, and then they will continue.
Happening
But
everywhere.
overall awareness and actions, and with the help of the, because section 27 of the FSSI Act has clearly defined whose responsibility is what, manufacturer, seller, and in seller responsibility is defined to sell the authentic product.
Right.
But one more thing I just want to put, AI coming in, there are very good actually tools where you can identify the real product. There are barcodes available which will change after the particular specific time of the manufacturing. So those trials are going on. Also there are some color changes happening on the smart packaging where automatically the color will change on the packaging. But again it's too early to use, and cost is one of the factor. But internationally it is happening, and the traceability and trackability and also the smart packaging will bring solution. People are working on it. At high-end product, it will be very easy. But at the 20 rupees bottle, I think
Very
it will be difficult to bring. But there are some AI-based models are available, which will bring the complete traceability, and you will able to, means like the bottle has some small barcode. The moment shelf life ends, the barcode will not be there. So you cannot, and every barcode will be unique. You cannot copy that barcode. So there are some solutions.
Thank you. Dr. Methekar, one question. Is there a set of technologies that you observe globally? My last question before we open up to the audiences. Is there a set of technologies globally used in maybe not necessarily in nutraceuticals alone, it could be in anything, that an regulator like yourselves or does use, like what Dr. Prabodh also said, can that be an enabler right now, not 2 years hence, but if something can apply right now? Do you think something can apply right away?
See, for globally, the consumer and their likings, or their looking to the product and their habitat of food are different. So globally, I don't agree that the global strategies will good hold in India, because we have the different population, different requirements. हम जैसे बोलते हैं ना, हर एक गांव में भाषा बदलती है तो खान पान भी बदल जाता है. So, but as per the regulatory concern is there, the robust mechanism, जैसा सर ने बोला IPS सर में, कि coordination of between the departments, police department, other departments, and the FSSAI, that will check the balance. And just one example, recently I have, the NDDB has done to counter, if you, everybody, just एक मिनट में ज़्यादा ले सकता हूँ?
Please, please.
मुंबई में देखो एक स्पेशल मिल्क के में एडल्ट्रेशन का जो किस्सा है वो 30-40 साल से चलता है कि व्हाट रात में क्या हो जाता है जब इन द नाइट आवर्स द पाउच मिल्क इज ब्रॉट टू द सप्लाई टू द हाउस होल्ड्स एवरी कंज्यूमर्स हाउस and it is supplied to the corners of the different localities of your house. So it is put on the tray, it is on the roadside or like that. When the actual vendors, they go to the that particular distributor dealer, they take that, they have the bags on their cycles. This is a typical adulteration is in the Mumbai. And they go to the, they are from the rural areas, Jhopadpatti particularly. So they go to the Jhopadpatti and they just cut through a TML of that pouch. And they add water, remove the milk. They use the thrown out bags of milk for that. So this is the adulteration. So the consumer has to be very vigilant. मुंबई में होता क्या है, सब हमारे घर पे थैली लगा के देते, that bag is there outside the house. We don't know who is giving the milk. And if अभी 12 बजे 1 बजे डिलीवरी हो जाता है उसका, then आपके घर में आता है 5-6 बजे, तो वो ठंडा तो रहता ही नहीं है, गर्म हो जाता है. तो that समय, in that point of view, you should understand कि ये गर्म लग रहा है तो इसका में कोई गड़बड़ है, कोल्ड चेन में तो आना चाहिए. But NDTV, to cater this, they have just yesterday announced that biodegradable packing, they have come up with that. Such innovative ideas, if the food business operators can adopt, that will also solve the counterfeit products in Mumbai.
Thank you so much. So, is there anything else that you would like to comment before? Please, please.
Actually, I wanted to give I have launched one book on food culture in Mahabharata. And so I have done some study on the Mahabharata about the food. Anyway, I will give this book I wanted to give to Shomit sir. But I will tell you one story about Mahabharata. Guru Dronacharya was very poor, and though he is a guru, and then he joined the Kauravas, but before that he was very poor, though he was very knowledgeable. He could not feed his son, Ashwathama, with the real milk. He always gave, like wife, gave the milk which was the flour and water, like wheat and or rice flour and water. Ashwathama always believed that is the real milk. The first adulteration case is then. And when he went to one of the friend's place, and when the real milk was offered to him, he said, it is a fake milk. Real milk is that. Then he came crying to mother. He said, that my friend's mother is saying, no, this is real milk, and your mother is not giving a real milk. So you tell me the truth. And then Guru Dronacharya
We'll face
said,
that problem if we continue like this.
sorry son, actually we are not able to feed you a real milk which is the costly, and then also it was costly. And I think that was the first adulteration case in the Indian household. And today we really don't know how many of we are liking the fake product only, and when the original will come, we may not like.
Absolutely, you're so right. Thank you. Yes, please.
Taking a cue from his story, actually there's one thing that I believe is, I think businesses should invest in consumer education. And this education is not only consumer, but also the whole supply chain. Because I don't believe that, and I don't mean businesses means only one company. I think people who travel together in a bus should collaborate. उस सप्लाई चेन में ना बहुत सी कंपनीज के बहुत से प्रोडक्ट चल रहे हैं, तो राइट फ्रॉम द डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर टू स्टॉकिस्ट टू द कंज्यूमर यू नीड टू ऑल्सो गिव द टूल्स कि मैं चेक कैसे करूं. हम बोल तो देते हैं कंज्यूमर बी अवेयर, कैसे? सो especially in Nutra, this is possible because a large segment of Nutra still today is a little pricier product. वहाँ पे तो that investment is imperative, and today आज वो investment, especially with the age of social media, why stories only of negativity rule? Inability should also rule. अब तो of course no influencer is going to roll that so easily. People need to invest, build up, disseminate कि मेरा प्रोडक्ट है, इसको चेक करना है, कैसे कर सकते हैं. And second part is, as Mr. Halde said, Dr. Halde said, कि AI is coming in. I think coming in की wait नहीं करनी है, लाना पड़ेगा. And this is what industry needs to collaborate. I think these solutions does not matter. You do your individual formulations, fine. But अगर मेरे को कोई track and trace की बात है, barcode है, very age old small thing, QR code, or whatever we want to implement, this can come as a service. India today has that tech stack and the entrepreneurship to provide solutions. People, businesses should be open to onboard this. कोई बात नहीं, हम करते हैं, इतनी कंप्लेंट नहीं है हमारी, कल आ सकती है. और कंप्लेंट की वेट क्यों करनी है? मेरे को अपनी ऑथेंटिसिटी चेन को अश्योरेंस के साथ कंज्यूमर तक पहुंचना है. वंस यू मेक इट एज अ पार्ट ऑफ योर SOP, I think from a marketing angle it also sells, not only from a quality angle. So I think there is this proactive action, क्योंकि अभी तक while we were talking about laws, that was a reactive change. Incident होता है तो something kicks in. I think the whole scenario changes when you actually move from reactive to proactive things. Exactly, we are not, मतलब somewhere we need to all collaborate. वही industry है नीचे, वो 6 brand के spurious products चल रहे हैं, तो वो 6 लोग collaborate कर लें in solutions. I'm not talking about anything else that hurts their business, but in solutions coming in educating customers कि भाई how to work in, and also a little bit of market making. We always try and do a lot of exercise on brand positioning. But market making भी एक part है, इसके अंदर I need to invest in the whole authenticity trail in that sense.
Absolutely agree. Would you like to add anything, sir, before we open it to questions? If we have the time, we can open for a few questions, if you're okay with it. Yeah. Please address it to the person that you want the answer from.
I want the answer from the panel itself. I'm Dr. Rameshwar. I'm an orthopedic surgeon based in Bihar. I'm a founder of D2C brand, Le Dawai, in which I used to help knee pain patients, how they can get rid of their knee pain without surgery and without harmful side effect of medicines. I used to manufacture some nutraceuticals as our D2C brands. As a doctor, what checklist I should have because we used to have third-party manufacturing, so that I should comply all these guidelines, or I should be vigilant that the quality of the products I'm
Dr.
getting is
Metekar?
correct or not.
First thing, you have to formulate your product first. What is the, you have to make the statement of additives and ingredient. What are the additives, what are the ingredients as per the Nutra regulations. Then you have to make the application to the authority, whether you are a manufacturer or third labeler, whatever the way. But perfectly you have to see that what are the ingredients and their prescribed doses. They are given in the Nutra regulation. They should be specific for that particular product, and the ingredients also enumerated in the different schedules. There are 5 schedules, 1, 2, 3. There is a Nutra, there is a supplement, then food for special dietary purpose, food for special medical purpose, like that. So you have to formulate your product, you have to supplement, you have to give the nutraceutical or the other way, what you decided. Then make your perfect formulations with ingredient and additive, and then you submit the applications. Once you get the applications, provided you should comply with the labeling and display regulations and the claim regulations. So that will be the right strategy for your all the products.
Also, you can use Nutrify AI, which is already there, and that will give you a very easy way into this. If there's any other questions? Can we have anybody else? We'll come back to you. Thank you so much. If there's anybody else with a question, otherwise we can ask. There is one at the back there. There's a hand raised at the back there. We'll stop with that maybe. Already on time. Yeah, be on time.
Good afternoon, sir. My name Brijesh Kapil. I'm ex-P&G, Merck, and Ranbaxy. My query on, say, this fake nutrition, what Dr. Sobit Jain mentioned, that we need to let the consumer know. Sir, close to 15 years back, on India's one of, say, the largest nutraceutical products that I handled, we had put a unique random unique code. It's not just a regular code to identify whether the product was fake. So there is a software which sits, throws up the unique code. That point in time, smartphones were less. So I used the alphanumeric code. And that alphanumeric code, if you SMS, you'll get the product is fake or, but I refuse to take it over to the consumer. Only my area managers and regional managers and all were allowed to have a look that are you in a position to detect any fake in the market or not. Sir, if there is a word that goes out that there are XYZ brand, I'm quoting the brand, Revital it was, there are fakes in the market, we would, like the sales would go ahead and drop. As a business head, I never had the gall to say that, like take it over the consumer, though it would have benefited the consumer the most. So my request is that FSSAI can very clearly regulate that the whole industry needs to adapt to it. Only then, like it can be taken to the consumer. Otherwise, the guys will do it, and this was done 15 years back, sir. Means no one would take it over to the consumer and limit for their own purposes and all only. Thanks.
My appreciation for two things at your end. One, you implemented a solution far ahead in time. Tech stack over that time was very low. Number two, the ecosystem, I think in terms of awareness was low with the social media kicking in. Now people are more aware of fakes. They probably don't mind that. So I'm not answering from FSSAI because he sits in a regulatory chair and I am just the friend of the trade over here. So kudos to this the thing, but my experience, and this is my experience with working with industry of various segments. When you say let FSSAI regulate or mandate, now there comes a regulatory structure in which there are many things before this thing comes. In the industry itself, you will find many people opposing something on that sort in terms of, if not anything but cost. Most brilliant solutions in the market always, and if we study it across products, have come when people in the market have clubbed together to bring solutions to the market. So if 5 big brands, and most big brands actually have now solutions of their own. When I go and buy a nutraceutical, I scan. So what I'm trying to say is कि tech stack है, intent को club करना है, और ये आपकी बात सही है, therefore I had called out the elephant in the room कि nobody would like to upstart spoil the market by saying कि जी मेरा fake बिकता है. But sir, जिसका product चलता है उसी का fake बिकता है. ये भी बात truth है.
That's true.
जिसका product ही नहीं चलता उसका fake बिकता ही नहीं है. So, but the time, what I am trying to push as I said, friend of the industry is, today you don't need government to mandate everything because then there are challenges for certain sectors the moment mandatory things come. So for a track and trace thing, if it becomes kind of an industry norm by the industry itself, and all those solutions that we are thinking that should come mandate have come in spheres by industry putting out solutions for itself. So I'm not saying कि let us go to the customer and say कि fake or challenge वो करिए. But if 3 or 4 major brands also bring in the similar solution today, कि भाई check कर लीजिए, because we want to serve you, I think the time is right to at least 15 years ago, probably I understand your limitations. But today we can call out that and say, कि आप मेरा प्रोडक्ट खरीद रहे हैं, जेन्युइन प्रोडक्ट खरीदिए, उस बात के ही आपने पैसे दिए हैं. बेस्ट पार्ट ये है क्योंकि ही इज एक्सपेक्टिंग सम रिटर्न फ्रॉम द फॉर्मुलेशन, वो आएगा ही नहीं.
Definitely an industry.
I think that conversation is time that need to be built, and that investment doesn't need the company alone going in the market. You have to build advocacy groups. You have to bring channels of positivity. That is what I'm talking, that the industry actually comes together to bring that communication channels.
Totally.
Not saying XYZ का product खराब है, but saying कि sir इस product range के अंदर please verify before you buy. And it should not be only at the consumer end. I actually have been advocating work with the distribution supply chains. So that first level, as I said, he knows where to go to be short of authentic. Aaj, those are limited spaces and moreover brand oriented hai. Matlab, I go to a good food supplement chain or a pharmacy and I believe कि वहाँ पे मेरे को सही मिलेगा और मार्केट प्लेस जो 2-3 बड़े हैं I believe कि सही मिलेगा तो वो belief को visible भी करना है so that industry will have to push a little. I'm not saying the
एक
government
क्वेश्चन है मैं ये पूछता हूँ we've all talked about the problem of coordination, nobody wanting to owning it up, whether it's within the government or outside the government, not from a reluctance point of view, but this is not my prime responsibility point of view. Everything else is also mattering. So should an association like Nutrify today, which is balanced, non-biased, can such an organization take up the next initiatives? I'm not saying regulation, but at least
absolutely
pick up the next.
I think any forum that has a trust of the house, yeah,
Definitely
should take up this kind of effort to build those chains or build those authenticity markers in the market so that there is a trust build up in the whole
Agreed
and I'm sure it will pay back even on volume.
Definitely. So with that note and with the note to Nutrify today's organizers that you can take it up to the next level, at least call a meeting of all the necessary people. So Amit, are you going to? No, are you there? I know. But are you going to take this up for the next quarter, 6 months sometime? All right, great. So we've got Amit taking it up. So with that, we'll end this session. I think we've overextended, but the August audience deserved that. Thank you so much, gentlemen.